about and complain about. God knows we all like that a little bit, just to vent. What are we going to do in a world where we don't have anything to vent about anymore? This might be a problem. So really, we got to get ourselves like allow ourselves to be taken into a new realm. In the following year, the 13th, the number of completion.
President, there's no slides.
You got this far without seeing slides? What were you looking at?
Beautiful landscape.
Oh, really? Well, I have something more beautiful.
Marin County.
That's actually that's Chonoguk you're looking at there. Oh, that is Marin County. Yeah, that's right. Marin County, also very beautiful. So do you see this now, guys? Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so you can imagine what I was saying. You can imagine what I was saying here. You can imagine what I was doing here. All right. Organized and orderly. This is okay. So the 13th year is the number of completion. We will hold the entrance ceremony for the Chonil Sanctum of the Chonwon Gung. That is important. If you don't know, write down. That is important. As it is prepared and completed in all aspects, there must be no shadows. How many shadows should there be, Ezra? None. Zero. Zilch. Nada.
Zero.
All right. In the 12th year, what is our focus, guys? Mother's saying so many mistakes were made over the course of 2,000 years of Christian history as the attendance of God became human-centric. Well, at least there was attendance of God, we got to say, right? I mean, we had attendance to God in some fashion. That's a miracle. Let's congratulate all of our ancestors for getting that part right. And we love men and we love human beings, but definitely it became a little bit human being and male-centered. So the Reformation became necessary, and it was initiated by Luther and consolidated by Calvin, in 1543. So Mother, is bringing this out that even way back when, God was trying to give human beings a way to relate to God directly. This is the whole purpose of the Reformation. Because Calvin developed a movement whereby pastors, elders, deacons, and believers united in attending heaven. The Puritans migrated to the American continent. Let's give it up for America. Thank you. As a new land where they could freely worship God. Now, the American story has not been simple or clean or perfect. But if we unite together, I believe something amazing is going to happen in America. So this is the foundation. They built a church, then a school, then their houses. So because of this earnest heart to serve heaven, America was blessed as the powerhouse of the providence. So establishing a central nation and Chon Il-guk. So if America is like Rome 2,000 years ago, where is Israel going to show up, Reverend Rendell? Anybody got any guesses? All right. The Reformation was initiated in 1517, consolidated in 1543, and a new world opens in 1620. But check this out. 400 years later, with Father's birth, the bell of a new era, a new religious movement is initiated and reformed. It's interesting that Mother's drawing these parallels, right, with Father's birth and Mother's birth. And this is Dr. Song's like pulling it out of Mother's speeches. But you can see this kind of parallel along with the firm settlement of Chon Il-guk in 2020. So let's now look at how that relates to truth. So pay attention. Chon Il-guk scriptures. The blessed families of Chon Il-guk living in this era must teach about true parents. That will be the content of the Chon Il scriptures that can uniquely remain permanently. To do that, you must become one with me. How many percent? 120%. 120%. That's right. In the Chon Il-guk era, the only way to explain the essence of the Creator, Heavenly Parent, and true parents is to explain the essence of Jesus. Did you hear that? The only way through this all is to understand the essence of Jesus. That becomes the scripture of Chon Il-guk. So you can say this way, it's like, if you want to understand about God, you have to understand true parents. And we all think we understand true parents. But in order to understand true parents, you have to understand the essence of true mother, which we have not really done, right? We have not really grasped that. So that's what all the noise has been about the last decade. But in order to understand the essence of mother, we have to start with the essence of Jesus. So Jesus is really where it's at first, interestingly. All right, so let's look at these three stages of the expression of truth towards completion of providence. So we're pulling this from Mother's Word. So from 1936 to 1960, from when Father received the mission until the Holy Wedding, this is referred to, Mother has referred to this era as the truth in the era of the teacher. Okay? And then from 1960 to 2020, this can be considered the truth centering on the era of true parents, right? Clear? And then what about the last few years is the truth centering on the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. And there is a difference, okay? So prior to the wedding is the era of preparation for the marriage supper of the Lamb. That's really what it was. I mean, all of Christian history, from the moment Jesus had to offer his life, we really entered into the era of the preparation for the marriage supper of the Lamb. And so, especially the years under the truth of the teacher, this is still in that era where everything is focused on the marriage supper of the Lamb, the purpose of Jesus' return. But then after the Holy Wedding, we entered into the 53-year era of the wilderness. Now, you know, World War I happened, World War II happened, 6 million Jews happened, all indemnity was paid. We did not actually need to go into the wilderness, you know that. However, we did need to go into the wilderness because certain conditions needed to be reset. Okay, so that's what we talk about with the truth of the providence. That's what we're going to talk about on the Blue Dragon tour. That's what we talked about in the rebirth workshop. But we're really, really polishing this to get to a point where we don't have to like dive into, you know, the dungeons to understand everything, but we can really understand the heart of Heavenly Parent. And honestly, it's like true parents are in the wilderness, and all of you guys joined them there. This is what's incredible. We joined true parents in the wilderness and pulled the foundation of God's providence back out of the wilderness and now into Chon Il Guk. That's where we are. But the truth of true parents is the truth that was needed for the providence in the wilderness era. We're not in that era anymore. We're in the era of Chon Il Guk. Can I get a Chon Il Guk? Can I get a whoop whoop? Can I get a, oh yeah, that's right. All right, good. So, all right, good, thanks. So there was various evolutions of the divine principle up until this point, and now we are in the era of Chon Il Guk. So Mother's talking about the Chon Il scriptures. All right, so this is just all stuff you got to know. All right. Next, the providence of the entrance into the Chon Won Gung. So this is very important. The Chon Il Sanctum, the Chon Won Gung, and this can be referred to as True Parents' Providential Plan 2. So Mother said the era of Chon Won Gung. Chon Won Gung is the completion of heaven's providence. Does anybody understand the word completion? I don't know if you've heard that word before in our history. Probably you've heard that come around before, and you every time you hear the word completion, you probably don't believe it. But this really is the completion of human history. Through the Chon Won Gung, the completed model of Chon Il Guk is realized. We will create the environment where Heavenly Parent can act and do great works at will. And Robert, aren't we already feeling that happen? This is what's going on.
Sir.
Okay, so first question, didn't true parents have to go into the wilderness course because of the Korean cultural sphere of Pyongyang, the Jerusalem of the East, Japanese killed the Christians? Yeah, big story. Fundamentally, Christianity and, Christianity, we weren't working together with Christianity. Like, so everybody knows this is what caused the journey into the wilderness. That's right. However, there was a possibility for Christianity to unite with us, and Mother said it very clearly in 2022. If the truth of the only begotten daughter had been properly revealed 60 years ago, Christianity would not have opposed us. Father also mentioned many things about that, so we'll go into that. but it wasn't actually necessary to pay indemnity in the sense that all the foundation for father to be victorious and mother to be victorious was there. And there were lots of challenges. When has anything ever gone right the first time round, though, right, Reverend Rendell? It's always a case. I can see Robert getting ready for the evening prayer vigil. God bless you guys. As we move toward the day of the entrance ceremony in 2025, which will be a celebration of joy and praise in front of Heavenly Parent, I wish to spend the time in preparation so that God can receive glory. Glory. The upcoming Chonil Guk year 13, the number of completion, the entrance ceremony for the Chonil Sanctum and the Chonwon will be held. There should be no shadows in any of its aspects as it is prepared and completed. So, the first time I heard Mother referring to this with this kind of language was 2022, April 17. And that was when she initiated this famous 2-day workshop with Professor Jinchun Kim. But the preface to all of that was, we need to clean house before we enter, personally, as a family, as a community, and as a church history. So what Mother was hinting at the time was, we need to really kind of like throw away the dirty, garbage. We don't need to like go into the garbage bag and sniff every like rotten, fish bone, right? But we need to throw out we need to understand what's the part that doesn't belong. What's the baggage we're not supposed to be carrying in to the completed era of Chonil Guk? What's the baggage we're not supposed to be needing to take into the Chonil Sanctum? And in this speech, Mother acknowledged that there's church baggage that we need to be responsible for, and she needs our help to take responsibility for. So it's been a long journey for Mother to kind of get this out. But she's so excited about offering this first time in human history, a home for Heavenly Parent, not a home for Heavenly Mother, not a home for Heavenly Father, not a home for Yahweh, not a tent for Yahweh or any other expression, but for Heavenly Parent in Chonil Guk with his children in substance. So this is, nobody did this before. All right, so the third providential plan, providential for nurturing younger generation and the launch of Heavenly Top Gun. So these are the two grandchildren, Shinchul, Shinhung, receiving Holy Salt. And this is the first year, Mother said, that through an official course, I'm sending out the second generation young people from the blessed families as missionaries to the world. You heard Robert refer to this. There really is a precious spirit that you can hear from Mother's heart towards the youth. And it's very simple. She has the same heart. She has the same heart to all of us, but she's been exhausted also in having to fight with the clever minds of the past who are so aware of all truth. They're just completely not aware of the truth that Mother wants them to be aware, or not completely aware, but it's like she wants us to really be like virgin minds and hearts to hear her. And she has a lot of hope in the third generation to lead the way, kind of unencumbered and unblocked. So it's true, of course, for the kids, the grandkids, of course, she's got great hope. But she really honors the grandparents, the parents, and the grandchildren as one. And she wants all of us to work as one for the sake of our youth. And yeah, she's really excited about these missionaries going out into the world, not just because of them, but because of what they represent. This path will become a model path for young people in the younger generation around the world and will become the official course for our second and third generation members in the future. So you've heard of Sun Moon University, you've heard of UPA Academy, and all these things. But please understand, this is the first year of Heavenly Top Gun, first year. So 1975, this is kind of like this is a picture of the first elite missionary training, the elite group later known as Top Gun. Top Gun, it was coined after the movie, of course, but you can see the parallel between 50 years ago and today. And so Mother mentioned this as well, the sort of second generation version of our original Top Gun. Fighting! All right. What is important here is that I believe in you and love all of you, she said to them. You are heaven's treasure. The problem is that while true parents are here on earth, we have to expand the environment of the kingdom of heaven. But I'm already past 80. I don't have many years. In preparation of when I go to heaven, you must become one with me and create the environment where we can attend heaven. All right. So number 4, the providence of recovering spiritually through spirit and truth. This is a big deal. This is really like, if there's only one thing we can take from anything, is this thing: to understand the importance of spirit within the concept of spirit and truth, and to really give the Chonshim One a chance. I imagine that, after Father passed, when Mother immediately talked about going back to the early days of spirit and truth, I imagine if there was really a revival of spirit and truth in the movement from that time, I don't know if we would ever have created the Chonshim One in its current form, or if we might have created it earlier. But I really believe and have experienced that this is a gift from Mother to give us the space, a sacred and anointed space that has a special condition set with it that really makes it much easier for us to catch this spirit. I heard it from all the testimonies from DC, all the blessed children that experienced something special over the last week, 2 weeks, months. Every testimony starts in the Chonshim One, And so Mother's paralleling this to the Reformation, which was trying to do this already 400 years ago in that sense, right? And it has done a good job of opening up the Spirit and the Holy Spirit being accessed much more freely, perhaps as it was in a sense in the early days of the Christian church also. But never have we been living in a time where we have access to both Spirit and the completed Chonil scripture truth and the true parent alive with us. This is a real sweet spot in human history that we're living in. So here's the Chonshim One in Korea, the main training center, on the 900th day. And now here we have Spirit and Truth. As of now, our unificationist community will advance under a 2-tiered system. Chonshim One will be the internal organization. It must create the environment in which the Chonshim spiritual leaders can establish themselves. All right. So Dr. Elio, it's good to know the history, but you should anchor your word in what Mother's saying. She's really bringing out the fact that the wilderness period didn't finish until Foundation Day, and really 3 years of mourning, and then really with the declaration of only begotten daughter, it started to become substantial in our era. Regardless of what we've understood in the wilderness era, this is, you must really go to the Chonshim One and pray and ask True Father directly. But you should probably just listen to True Mother. This means the time is right for us to go out with spirit and truth. It is no longer sufficient just to deliver divine principle lectures. The spirit world must be under our dominion. Now, it's interesting that, the divine principle is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But there are some fundamental missing things, right? Dr. Hendricks, you've been working on this also. It's like, it brings us to the point of anticipation around the Messiah, but there's not a lot of mention really of true parents' responsibility, true parents, and also true mother, and also the only begotten daughter, which is actually the entire fundamental purpose of the last 2,000 years of Christian history, is to find her. So, it's very interesting to watch how true parents have navigated us out of the wilderness into this victorious completion. And we've had to, go from kindergarten to elementary school, to middle school, to high school, to university, and to graduate school level understanding of really what God's trying to say to us. You all should pray to True Father fervently at the Chonshim One. Pray, I will visit this place. So she's saying, we've been doing our morning devotion, right? In the morning. And it's fantastic because, start the day, it's kind of Hundoke led, it's spirit led. And I've heard so many testimonies of people breaking through with Mother by just reading her book. So thank you for that. Thank you. And we'll continue to do that. We're also working on more materials to give you for that. But every time I go to Korea, I'm noticing that there's a different spirit in the Chonshim One evening prayer vigil. So we're actually united with Korea by starting at 6 a.m. Western or Pacific time. And that allows us to join in on Fridays with them and so on. But I really felt strongly this time, for the sake of witnessing and for the sake of really catching the spirit of revival, we should open up the evening hour, at least 2 hours of evening prayer, and let the youth lead it too. It's okay for anyone to lead it, but it's interesting to see what happens when the youth lead it. It's up to you in your local communities with the pastor, how they want to do. But we're seeing incredible things occur at nighttime. That's different than the daytime. And Mother herself said, when you pray in the evening, you're accessing the God of night. And actually you're accessing, it's like you can even more freely and easily speak with Father. And Mother's encouraging us to do so. She's saying, I will tell Father this, I will visit this place today. I'm coming at this time, Father. I'm going to meet you there. So please be with me, be with us, Father, and show us the power of heaven. So imagine, we've got all of our ancestors, we've got all of these angels working with us, and, we can give them some direction at night, then we take a rest and wake up, and they've already prepared everything for the day. Are you, Robert? That's what you're about to do right now. So the principal content and lectures of the principles of the past. Okay, so the principal content and lectures on the principle are of the past. They are of the past. You can still find truth. Okay, you can resonate and find truth, and your mind can be illuminated, your pathway can be opened by studying the Hebrew Bible. Absolutely. By studying the New Testament, by studying the scriptures and the words of true parents from the Holy Wedding all the way through to now. But the words of true parents in the era of the true parents of heaven and earth, after Foundation Day and after the firm settlement of Chonolguk as declared by Mother in 2020, we are in a different era. And actually, it's all about our unity to unite with it. The pace of our unity with true parents has a massive effect on the speed at which God can reveal more. That's always been the truth. So Mother's saying we got to experience this ourselves. We can't talk, we're listening to testimony of spirit experiences, but you all know, you've had those spirit experiences. It just has to be experienced. It's not something to lecture about. And we're really encouraging you to make your experiences with each other in your community, bright. If there's anything that's holding you back, or, oh, we're not allowed to do that, we have to do it in this way or that way, don't worry. Mother really wants you to have a family experience directly with God, right? A church experience directly with God. And if we allow the Chonchen One to play a leading role in how we let that come out, I think we will be, as leaders, we take a step back and go, wow, God, you're amazing what you do. Even better than my ideas, right? Even better than what I was thinking can happen. And I got to say this about spirit and truth real quick. I think we have had a lot of, spirit experiences in our church. Absolutely. It's the spirit world that brought us here through thick and thin. Absolutely. But sometimes I've experienced in our church, we have a moment of spirit, right? We have like a spirit experience, and then we go and do the church thing or whatever it is. This isn't all the time. I'm not judging anyone here, so don't take it like I'm, being finicky about anything. But my experience has been, sometimes we'll have like, in 1 minute, we'll have like a deep prayer, a spirit experience, and then we shift over here and we're like, okay, now we've got to be a little bit like, tradition for many has felt like something a little bit scary and stiff, maybe in another language you don't quite understand. Sometimes we have spirit and truth as separate experiences, is what I'm saying in some sense, right? But these two things are to be one. Not, we say two words, but it's two of the same thing to go together. Aju? So that means Sunday service can from start to finish, of course, can be spirit-led. And many of our Sunday services some of our Sunday services around the country have been, but, we just heard from a second gen in DC that he never remembers. Even when he was leading himself the Sunday service, he never felt really a spirit-led Sunday service until the Chonchen One was a part of the package. And so I